Hey guys, welcome to another video. This one is also a graph question. So I think doing graph questions can be very confusing. So I'm going to do one more for you guys so you guys understand how we form those equations and how we can get to the answers, okay? This one is from paper November 2018, paper 2-2. Question number 6. So here we have Zara fences off a piece of land next to a wall to make a vegetable garden. As you can see, we have a wall here. Here we have his garden, and he has to. This is the fence that he wants to make. This is X, and this one we don't know yet. So the garden is a rectangle with the wall as one side. This is the wall, and the area of the garden is 18 square meters. So we have been given this information. And also the width of the rectangle is x. So how would you find the length? That's the first thing I want to think about. How would I find the length? So as you guys know by now, area is equal to length times width. Area is 18, length we don't know, width is given by x. So length should be 18 divided by x. So let's write this down. So just remember, we have two things is so basically here the total length of the fencing required for the garden is y meters. We have to first find the value of y. So this is the length that we need for the fencing. So as you can see, length will be perimeter of the fencing, which will be x plus this and plus this. So x plus 18 over x and plus x. That will be 2x plus 18 over x, shown as required. Now let's write two things that we need to use later on. X, remember, represents the width, and the length is given by 18 divided by x. So just remember this for later on. But for now, this was pretty easy. The total length is just a perimeter. We just have to see the distance around the garden for this value. Okay, that is pretty easy. Now for part B, we have to complete the table for y for these values of x. So this one is pretty easy as well. So for this value of x, find the value of y. So we just have to replace back in your equation. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 18, that will be 20. Now 2 times 2 is 4 plus 18 divided by 2, that should be 13. And for the value of 9, 2 times 9 plus 18 divided by 9, that should be 20. Okay, so here this is pretty straightforward, so you guys can do this pretty much easily, right? Now let's move on to the graph as well. The graph should be also easy because we just have to plot points and then draw the rest. This one should be pretty easy as well. So the first point we have is 120, that will be right here. Then we have 213, that will be about 11, 12, 13. Then we have 312, 11, 12. Then we have 4, 12.5. This is going to be 11, 12.5. Then we have 5, 13.6. So that is 11, 12, 13. This is 14, 13.5, 13.6, somewhere around here. And we have 6 will be 15, so 15 is this one, and 7 will be 16.6, so 16, 16.6, somewhere around here, and 8 will be 18.3, so that will be 16, 17, 18.3, 9 will be 20, so 9 is 20, that's the last value on the table. So now we have to join this point by a smooth curve. So this is very important actually because your curve will help you for the rest of your questions, so make sure that your curve is as smooth as possible. Okay, so here we go. Okay, not too bad. And this one will be joining with this one. Now you just have to label this as y equal to 2x plus 18 over x. And of course, when it comes down to graph and drawing, always use a pencil because you can always retry again and make it as smooth as possible. Okay, that is for part 2. This one is pretty easy till now. It is only graph, so this one is still pretty easy. Now let's move on to the questions part to see what we'll be looking for. Okay, so part C, we have to use your graph to find the two possible width. So width, go back to your question. As you can see, width is x. So find the two possible values of x. Of the garden is 14 meters. Of the fence is used. So of the fencing is used, so you have to understand that this is asking you, telling you that y is equal to 14 because the length of the fence used is given by this equation, y equal to this. This is the length of the fencing, so length of fencing used. So here 40 meters of fencing is used, so y is equal to 14. So find the values for x when y equal to 14. So now given your graph, you see here we have y and here we have x. So how do you draw a graph like this? You guys must know by now y equal to 14 is a horizontal line at the value equal to 14. So we can just do that. Let's first see where's that. So here it is 15. 14 will be 2 squares down, should be about here. And remember, when doing graphs, you have to always show your work, and this is how they mark you. If you don't show your work, they may not give you full marks, and that's not what you want, right? So now you see there's 2 points of intersection with a curve, so you have to show you are finding the corresponding value of x when that happens. Okay, so based on my curve and my line, from what I can see, my value will be, this is 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.7. So it can be 1.7 or it can be 5.3. That is according to my graph. Now this is part C. Now part D, the fencing costs $20 per meter. That's the cost. Now part 1, find the minimum amount it will cost Zara to build the fence. So we still have to use our drawing. So what is the minimum amount that it will cost to build the fence? So you have to go to your graph to see where is the minimum point, where is the minimum that she can use to build the fence. Your graph does this, and that's the minimum point. So we have to draw a line here to find the corresponding value. So that will be about, this is 11, 12. So the minimum possible value will be when y equal to 12 meters. That's the total length that she will use according to your values that you can see here, right? Now, we know that the cost of 1 meter is equal to $20. Now, what is the cost of 12 meters? It will be $20 times 12. That should be about $240. Okay, that is for part 1. Now for part 2, Zara wants to spend no more than $350 on the fence. That's a condition that she doesn't want to spend more than this. Okay. Now because of that, find the greatest possible width of the garden Zara can make. So again, going back to know that width is actually the value of x. So you have to find the greatest possible value of x of the garden Zara can make based on this condition. So now we have to know what is the value of y when the cost is less than $350. So we have to form an equation that helps us to determine something for y. So based on this thing here, the cost is equal to $20 per meter, and the total length, the length y is the total length that we use our fencing. It is in terms of meters, right? So your cost will depend on your length. So how do you find costs? How do you find total costs? You will take the cost times the length. So you will take 20y, because that's how you find the amount it costs. That's the total cost, but you know that it has to be less than 350, right? So that's how you form this equation. So I hope you understand. So the first thing we know is that the cost of the fencing is $20 per meter. Now, for us to know what is the total cost, we have to know how much she used. She will use y, because that's what it's defined by. It says y is the length of fencing that she used, so she will use y. So based on y length, y meters, based on y meters, the total cost will be 20 times y. And for that cost, she wants to be less than 350. So that's how we form this equation. Now we have to simplify. Y has to be less than what? Divide by 20. That will be 17.5. So basically, y on your graph has to be less than 17.5. So let's do that. So let's find the value of 17.5. So 17 will be, this is 16, and 17 will be right here. 0.5 will be right here in the middle. Now we have to draw a line here. This is your value of y, 17.5. Now you can see it meets the curve at 2 points. The first value will be this one, and the second value will be this one. So basically this is the range where she can buy, right? This is 1.2 and this is 7.6. So basically y can be between what value? Y can be between, sorry, this is x, not y. This is your x-axis. X can be between 1.2 and 7.6. So no more. Okay, so no more means that value or less, so you have to add this. Okay, no more means less or equal to. Okay, so based on this, you found out that the value of x, the value of width she can use, is between 1.2 and 7.6. And here we are trying to find the maximum possible. So maximum will be 7.6 according to your graph. So your answer will be 7.6. So now just to help you to understand this part again. So from part A, we know that what? We know that, let me write this down on here. We know the cost of fencing. The cost of fencing is given to you already as $20 per meter. Now, for example, let me explain. So y, as you know, it is the length of fencing that you will use, right? Y is the length of fencing that you will use. Now, example number 1. Let's say we use a length of equal to 20. You would say, okay, I need to find the cost. The cost will be what? The cost will be the total cost. So 1 meter costs $20. 20 meters will cost 20 times 20. That will be 400. That makes sense, right? Now let's say example number 2. The value of fencing is y. What is the cost? You would say, okay, 1 meter costs $20. Y meters will cost 20 y. So same way, here we have found the cost that we will have based on the cost, based on the length that we are going to use, which is we don't know yet, it is y. And we have a condition that the total cost 20y has to be no more than 350. So by using that equation, we have to simplify to this, and then we have to draw this line on the graph, which is y equal to 17.5, to find the possible values of x. And after that, you can see x can be all these values between those two, and the maximum value can be this one, so that the cost will not be more than 350. So that will be question number 6. As you can see, it is always important to understand what the question is asking you. So make sure that you read and understand the question before you actually just draw a line and then derive some conclusions. So make sure you understand what's happening and then proceed cautiously with the question. And I hope that was helpful. As always, if you guys have other questions, let me know. The exam is soon. And thank you for watching. I will see you soon.